This is our Lunch and Learn on the 6 integrated manufacturing tools that will make you howl. I don't have a good howl. I was going to try. I know we have Halloween coming up, but that was my best attempt. My name is Bob Turner, and I'm a member of the Acumatica sales team here at Clients First Business Solutions. I've got a couple folks joining me today that will be participating. Nancy Philippi is our senior sales consultant at Clients First. And also, right out of Sweden, we have Monica Stuber, our sales engineer, and she is the all-knowing when it comes to Acumatica. And she's a great tour guide. I'm sure you will enjoy the presentation. Here's a few quotes. I'm going to skip over this. I'm not going to read these to you, but we have a lot of people out there that are happy users with Acumatica that are like giving us quotes. After a brief overview of Acumatica, I'm going to turn it over to Monica for the demonstration. Then I'll tell you a little bit about Clients First, and we'll wrap it up with some Q&A. Quick introduction about Acumatica. It was founded in 2008. By the way, that's the same year that the iPhone was introduced, and I know some of you out there couldn't imagine going through life without your iPhone. Well, that's the same way a lot of our users feel about Acumatica. One of the founders of Acumatica, his name was John Howell. He had a ton of experience in ERP, actually launched and built a very well-known and still in the market ERP system, legacy system, that was purchased by a large software publisher. But once he sold that to the other publisher, he took that money and he saw an opportunity to build the ultimate mid-market, small to mid-market ERP system that was cloud-based. So his recognition was, in the future, cloud computing is going to be everything. So in order for that to be able to happen, then all the different programs out there are going to have to be able to communicate with each other. So John he built an open network or an open framework and built it on the standardized languages that everybody agreed to that would be able to communicate with each other. So what we ended up with was a best-in-class solution that is, we call it a multi-decade solution, so you aren't going to have to take a look at getting another ERP system in the next 15 to 20 years. They do have very ethical business practices. Their contracts are very open, and there's no hidden fees or anything. When it comes to disrupting the market, which is what John's intent was, the first thing he wanted to do away with was the per user license fee strategy. So as we all know from other legacy systems, as we add users, we get a yearly charge. There's a few downsides to that. It increases your cost, but it also inhibits growth. We have to pick winners and losers, who's going to be able to have access to the system and critical business information, and who's going to be able to participate. So we thought, well, actually John thought that we should have everybody participate, everybody be able to put in real-time information so we have one version of the truth, and that's what we ended up with. So there are no user license fees. This eliminates a lot of multiple entries and also extends out to customers and partners, any of your vendors, you can give access to your system. It's a very flexible when it comes to deployment options. We recognize that actually 91% of our clients prefer to go just with the software as a service offering or the cloud. And that is hosted by Amazon Web Services, has the highest statistics for uptime. But some folks, some government contracts, for one reason or another, they need to have a private cloud, whether it be on-premise in their own server or a third party. So we have that option with Acumatica, and like many parts of Acumatica, that flexibility is locked in even after you sign your contract, and that if we want to start with the cloud deployment and then at some point need to bring it in-house, that's a possibility, and it's very easy to do. So you're not locked into any decision that you end up with. It is truly browser-based, so your system's going to follow you throughout your business day. If you get to the office in the morning and log on to your PC, you open up Acumatica, you can see what's going on with the business. Let's say you have a 10 o'clock appointment with the client, you can bring your pad and still have access, be making approvals, do whatever you need to do. Get back to the office, and then maybe you need to skip out to go to a baseball game of one of your children. You can get right on with your cell phone. It has great, powerful mobile apps and still allowing you to be productive wherever you are. And this has really turned out to be very important for a lot of our clients this year. I'm sure you're all familiar with something called COVID. Well, with the lockdowns, with Acumatica users and customers have had the ability to still be productive from their home offices without disruption. It is a complete ERP solution, and when they did away with the user license fees, they went with the consumption model. So basically, we aren't going to charge you for what you don't need. So when I say it's a complete solution, we can handle whatever type of business you're doing, but if you aren't doing manufacturing, then we won't give you the manufacturing module. But you can see that we have several additions here. We will be focusing on manufacturing today, but there are several add-on products. We call them ISVs, but specialty software solutions that can handle very niche parts of your business, and they all interface very well with Acumatica because of the open cloud structure. There we go. We have received a lot of recognition from many of the analysts out there. I think one of the most important to bring up is that for 4 years in a row, it's been ranked the highest in usability. So one of the daunting tasks of bringing in a new software system into your business is looking at your employees and your staff and team and telling them, guess what, we got to change the way we're doing business. Well, that can be intimidating for folks that aren't very computer savvy. With the Acumatica interface, like you'll see during the presentation with Monica, very easy to use, and I think is very important, very configurable. In software world, we don't like the word customization, we like configuration, which is what Acumatica offers you. You don't need a consultant to come in and build a report for you or change any of your dashboards. It's very easy to do and configure, and I can do it, so I'm sure most of your employees can. That's it for my presentation at the beginning, just telling you about Acumatica. We're going to switch over now to Monica, and Monica is going to take us a tour of Acumatica. Let's see. And Monica, hopefully you're all set for this. I'm not the greatest at handing over on these little transitions, so.
Oh, by the way, Monica is from Switzerland.
I'd say it's Sweden.
Right, Monica?
Yes, but that's okay.
It's an American thing, you know?
Yeah.
Somewhere in European. Monica comes to us from Europe.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Week to everyone. I hope everyone is well and ready for the demonstration that we're going to see here in a minute. My name is Monica Stuber. I am a sales engineer for Acumatica with clients' first business solutions. And today we will cover the following topics together, as mentioned on the agenda that was sent to you. The production order process, bill of materials, MRP, and for the production orders, I will show you how to make an order to stock and how to make an order to order. At this point, I would like to mention that Acumatica has additional modules available. For example, estimating to create a quick and detailed manufacturing estimate, or the product configurator, a rule-based system that allows manufacturers to configure and build custom products to order, or the engineering change control with the purpose to control changes to your bill of materials. And last, advanced scheduling. This allows to manage and monitor the shop floor schedule. For time reasons, I cannot go into details of these options today, but if you are interested, please do not hesitate to reach out to us for an additional demonstration. Now, let us go to the manufacturing flow. This flow shows very good how integrated Acumatica really is. All the modules are going hand in hand with each other, and since I am a visual person, it helps for me to see the individual steps in the process. Also, the tiles are interactive. So for example, if I click on the sales order tile here, this Acumatica is taking me directly to the transaction of the sales order in the system. Here is the sales order. Going back to the manufacturing flow, I would like to look at the two most common scenarios, what we can see here. One scenario is make to stock, where customer orders are coming in, they're going into a forecast together with the master scheduler, feed the MRP. The MRP then makes a suggestion to purchasing what they need to replenish the inventory with. Once we have enough stock, this can go into production. We can add labor and materials to the inventory item to create a finished good. This goes back into inventory and it waits until it can be shipped to a customer. The make to order process is a little bit more straightforward. So the customer places an order with us. From the sales order, I have the ability to make a production order, to create a production order. I can release then this order. This goes then to production on the shop floor, where material and labor is added to the inventory item to turn it to a finished good. And this goes then into inventory and is directly shipped to the customer who started this whole process. I think the process flows are a beautiful feature of Acumatica. They keep me on track and they are available throughout the whole system for other modules as well. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of the software, I would like to talk a bit about the easy navigation in Acumatica and the configurable dashboards. Here we see a manufacturing dashboard, for example, or how one could look like. We have widgets, we have different graphs, and we have lists, completely tailored to what your daily needs are. And the gorgeous part of these graphs and widgets is if you click on them, they're interactive and you can drill and dig for even more detailed information. So for example, here on this graph, we have production order by status. And I see here we have a whole lot of closed ones in here. So maybe I don't want to see those. So I click on close and the blue disappears from my graph. If I want to dig deeper and say, well, I really want to see what is in process today, I can click on the yellow part of the graph and Acumatica takes me to a list where I see all this in process status orders that we have available today. Or here on that list, orders to review, complete and not closed. I can click on the production order number and Acumatica takes me to that production order. And sure enough, this is completed. But when I go to action, this is my next action would be close the order. On these widgets here, we see they have dollar signs where they show a dollar amount, of course. And then we see those little watches or clocks that are on these tiles here on these widgets. So that means they're time sensitive. So for example, today we have to release 16 more orders. And for the remainder of the week, we have another 14 orders. So we're good here. But this red one here jumps right in my face. This one here is late. This is the reason why it's emergency red. And if I click on this, I can see very quickly what kind of skeletons are hiding in my closet. So I need to get to it and get these taken care of. As I already mentioned, these dashboards are easy to tailor to your daily needs. During implementation, we will train your staff to make these configurations on their own. This great benefit from Acumatica is truly a time saver and a cost saver. Compared to most legacy systems that require a developer to make such adjustments and changes to the software. Since we're already on the dashboard, let me show you the ease of use and functionality of Acumatica. We have already seen how seamlessly integrated Acumatica is with its streamlined processes and the workflow. Now here we can see the simplified navigation and the ease of use. On the left side here, I have the menu items that I, Monica, want to see. If I click on more items, there you can see there is way more tiles available to me. So if I, for example, would like to add the finance tile, I can click on here or hover over it and I find this pin and I can just pin this straight here to the finance, straight here to the menu side. If I feel like, nah, I don't need banking at the moment, I don't want to see this right now, I can click on here and it's going to disappear from my menu here on the side, on the left-hand side. This is how easy it is to add and take away work centers. Since we're already talking about a work centers look like this. They have, when you open everything, you see all that is available to that particular work center. Maybe you don't need that much and you don't want to see all of this, but So you want to tailor this to your needs as well. So for example, you say, I really don't need to see the VIP adjustments. You can go to this little sign up here that looks like a setting sign. You click on it and you say, I don't want to see these VIP adjustments. You click on it, you exit out, and then you can see this has disappeared from your shortlist. Another tool that can save you time is the universal search in Acumatica. You can search all kinds of stuff. For example, if you want to search menu items, you can say sales orders. And under the menu items, you can see everything that is related to sales orders is going to show up. If you forgot where it is on your menu, you can do this. So it's very simple to find. Or for example, if you want to look up a customer or a vendor and you click on here and you go on the transaction profiles, you see my hunted customer shows up, and all the transactions there that are attached to that customer are in this list as well. Another favorite tool of mine is favorites, as it says. So you saw me probably in the very beginning when I showed you the process flow, the manufacturing process flow. I went to my favorites because in here I store everything that I need every day. And so what I can do is I can go, for example, here on, let's say, release production orders. I can hover over it, and on the side, on the left-hand side, I see a little star show up. If I click on that star, it adds these release production orders to my favorites. If I go back to my favorites, I can see here release production orders in my favorites. As you can see, a lot of things you can do to make your day easier, to make the processes smaller or faster. So very nice navigation tool. Now let's get over to the bill of materials. We can do this here directly from the menu, or again, I could use the universal search. At the moment, I'm going through the menu. I'm clicking on bills of materials. And because we're so close to Halloween, I created a bill of material, a little skeleton for you guys. Look at that. So it has like a torso, a skull, left and right arms, and left and right leg. Of course, everything is complete. So talking about bill of materials, the cost catchers of manufacturing. In order for us to create a finished good, we need to collect costs and production needs and add them to inventory items. In Acumatica, we do not need to worry about scary spreadsheets about this. With exporting data from a system, they manipulate the data and summarize it back to a report. No, we can do all of this right here from this bill of materials screen. So you see here at the very top, we have the bill of material number and the name of the bill of material. As a matter of fact, here, inventory ID, I can click here from the screen of bill of material and go and see the inventory or the stock item that goes with that bill of material. When I go into the stock items, I can see here the general information. It's a manufacturing piece, it's a finished good. I can go to manufacturing tab. I see this is a make to order item. It also goes with the MRP, my replenishment rules that I'm setting here with safety stock, min and maximum order. And of course, I can go to the warehouse details where I can see how many I have on hand of this skeleton. Well, I have 151, but since it's so close to Halloween, we might want to produce a couple more. So Acumatica is supporting revisions. So we can have revision A, B, C. We can retire a bill of material here with start and end date. And then the midsection here is showing us the routing or the operations for a bill of material. On these operations, we are adding setup time, run time, machine time, queue time. We also decide on here if we would like to backflush the labor at the end of the manufacturing process. We can also decide what scrap action we are taking with the individual operation. And as you can see here, per operation, if I go click down here, you see it's disappearing down here, per operation, and in this case here, assembly, I can add materials, what I did with these little torso, skulls, and arms and legs. I can add a step or steps. That is information that then goes with my job traveler to the shop floor. I can add tools and overheads. I can even add an outside process. An important thing to mention here is also the work centers. Let me look at the work center number 10 here, for example. If I open this up, again, I can drill right from my bill of material screen into the work center. On the work center, I can add costs to this. Again, here I can make a decision, backflushing materials or labor, yes or no. And then I can add shift information. I could add overhead, machines. I can see where is this work center used also in with which other bill of material, and I could even put in substitute work centers. So something else that I would like to mention up here, we have notes and activities that we can add to a bill of material, and we can add files here, for example. That is as simple as going here on your desktop, and let's say we take the forecast for skeleton, and we just drag and drop this right in here. And if you can see here, this file has now 2 files attached to it. So my drawing and my forecast for the skeletons. All right, so I think I have said everything that I wanted to say about the bill of materials, and I would like to move on to the next step on the agenda, that is the MRP. The MRP, Material Requirement Planning, is fed on one side by the demand, forecast, open sales order, lead times, minimum, maximum quantities. And on the supply side, we have the master production schedule, we have open purchase order, open production orders, quantity in stock, etc. I will focus today on 2 inquiries. The first one is the MRP exceptions, and the second one, of course, the MRP display itself. But let's look at the preferences very quick on these 2 inquiries. So for the exceptions, I can put in days before and days after the execution date of that inquiry. And on the general one, I can really choose a grace period, the stocking method, the purchase calendar. I can choose even if I want to put on hold sales order, purchase order, or production order onto this MRP. So I can do all of this here in my preferences. Going now into the inquiry of the MRP exceptions, you see here we have the inventory ID, we have the description, and this here is probably what is the most important or the most interesting on this report. We have then also the related documents, quantities and times, but the type is important, especially for buyers that will probably use this inquiry the most. Here you can see what are late orders, what has to be expedited and deleted. For example, if I want to see everything that is deleted, I can just clear this very quick and let me show all the items that have to be deleted. Or for example, if I want to see what does need to be expedited, I click on expedited, and it shows up that these 2 orders need to be expedited. Now, while we are on the MRP here, going back to the MRP display, that is the actual MRP, where we have the inventory ID and the description, we have the warehouse associated with it, the quantities, the dates. But what is different on this one here is we can create purchase order, manufacturing, or transfer orders directly from the MRP. This is actually where I would like to lead into my first production order to show you how this is created, as we saw before on the process flow. From the MRP display, I can create a manufacturing order. So what I can do here, same as I did with the other inquiry, I can go here and just show me everything that is that needs to be manufactured. I can click and choose, for example, here this base unit that I would like to manufacture, and then click on this manufacturing tab. System is asking me, do you want to create that? I say yes. And then when I go into my manufacturing screen, maintenance screen, and I do refresh the system, you can see here my base was added to the production order list. So this is as simple as creating a production order from the MRP. Now we can add production orders, of course, from the production order screen as well, or we can do the make to order production orders, and they would start out in sales orders because since Jack O'Lantern called up and needed 20 more skeletons for his Halloween party, we're going to go right into a sales order and create that very quick, that sales order for him. So this is a regular sales order. We choose the haunted customer and we add the skeletons. And we need 20 of that. We save this, and then from actions, we can choose the action menu production orders. I click on the production order. And you see here my skeleton, the quantity of 20 comes up. I check mark that, and I create the production order right here from the sales order. Once the production order is created, in my sales order, I get a reference number for that production order. I can click on this and go from the sales order directly onto this production order. On this production order, you see we have the skeleton. We have to produce 20. And I will release this order now under the action. I can release this order so that we can start the process. I would like to mention a couple things here that are important. The reference tab, of course, here again, we see how integrated Acumatica is with our, how hand in hand everything goes. So you see here we have the reference back to that sales order. An important tab is also the event history. Here you can see in live data what happens to this order, what is the status on this order right now. We have released that order. And the totals tab is a very important tab as well, because here we can compare planned versus actual, and we see the variance. So you see right now this order is released, nothing has added or done to it yet. So you see here we have everything in planned, actual is still on 0. If I now go to add material to this order, I can go back to actions and release the material to this order. You see all my material is showing up. Torso, skull, left arm, right leg, right leg. 20, we need 20 from this wholesale warehouse. And I can select all. I can take this off hold and then release the material to my production order. If I go back to my production order from materials, there we go. And I check my event history. You can see now the material is released to that order. And when I go to my totals tab, you can see here now my material is now moved into the actual. So you can see this is constantly, I can see where I'm at with this order, where are my costs. So very beneficial to me. When it comes to adding labor to a manufacturing order, let me go to production orders very quick. When it comes to adding labor, Acumatica offers 3 options. This is another way Acumatica adjusts to your workflow, opposed to you having to adjust your processes to work with your ERP system. We have the option to scan the barcode on the job traveler. And now I know what I forgot to show you, and I would like to do this very quick on this order again. When we go to reports, this is very, very nice, the production ticket. We call this the job traveler. Once you have the production order released in the system and you have added materials to it, you can print this production ticket or job traveler. You see it's There are barcodes and everything on it. It has the inventory ID, the name of the inventory. You have the order date, and you can, like with every order, with every report in Acumatica, you can print this, you can send this, you can export this to Excel or PDF. But this is the job traveler going to the shop floor so that the staff on the shop floor know how much they have to produce of what. So coming back to the labor on production, we have this opportunity to scan these barcodes and then on the job traveler and then enter time to each routing. Or we can go and use the labor transaction here to do this manually. Or if you decide to go with the backflush method, you can add the labor at the end of the production process through the move transaction. So the key benefits of production orders are definitely controlled planning and scheduling, the capturing of the manufacturing costs like labor, material, tools, machines, etc. Then definitely the comparison between plans and actual, so you see at all times where you are with your costs, and of course live data that is available to you at any time, anywhere. Now let's do a recap of what we worked on today. We started out with the manufacturing workflow, where I showed you the two main production processes. One was make to stock and one was make to order. Then we looked at the bill of material and the MRP. From the MRP, we created a production order, what is the make to stock process. And then we walked through a make to order process, starting out with the sales order, going into a production order. As you can see, Acumatica Cloud ERP is a versatile and capable solution that provides enormous value. I hope that we get the opportunity to work together on your Acumatica implementation. Thank you so much for your time. And with this, I hand over the microphone to Bob.
Bob? We can't hear you, Bob.
Oh, I guess I had it on mute. My dogs were snoring too. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sheesh. Too many things to remember. Okay. A couple things I want to mention that, man, what a great demo by Monica. A couple things I do want to highlight. With regards to everything that you can see on her screen, remember that Monica has an admin view, so she has access to everything. When we go into setup, and this isn't something that we have to do as a user, you can do this yourself, but you have control either as a manager to control what your employees can see or your team members, and they can actually configure and shuffle around their own views to make sure that the screen works for their workflow. I do want to also mention that all those reports are editable. Oh, go ahead, Nancy.
Well, I was going to say that's based on security. Absolutely. So some of the, most of what she showed as far as configuration and whatnot, all that can be hidden. Your employees don't even know that there was a finance button there or a banking button. So basically she had access to across the system. But the system is also kind of role based. So a lot of the roles for, say, production manager or AP clerk, that sort of thing, they have roles already kind of designed for them, and security is very limited. And then you can further refine security down to the field level, which that's kind of a lot, but it can be done. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you, Nancy. Also, the reports that you saw in there, all reports are very editable, very flexible. They're driven on general inquiries or generic inquiries. So there's a lot of flexibility. And I love what Monica said during the presentation is that Acumatica adapts to the way you do business. You don't have to adapt your business processes to work with your ERP system, and that's throughout the system. Real briefly, some of us, or some of you may be wondering who Clients First Business Solutions is. Acumatica only distributes through a sales channel or a partner channel, and we are a well-known partner. We have a nationwide presence, over 750 customers, over 100 employees. Now this slide's a little old, and we have offices across the country. One thing that's nice about that partner channel is that allows Acumatica, they reinvest 74% of their revenue goes back into R&D. So twice a year they have big releases, and they're always coming up with cutting edge improvements. They're working hard on artificial intelligence right now with business flows. So that's where we are, and we take the burden off of them so we can work with you folks. We have tons of experience. Our team has a lot of experience in manufacturing, job shops, and a lot of ERP. Here's a great example. One of our clients down in San Antonio, quick quote, he loves our system, and he's a job shop, but they also has the ability to do his retail sales through a POS system, and they have construction deployment also.
They do everything.
They do everything like we do. Did you have anything that you wanted to add, Nancy, before we go to questions and answers? I know you've been monitoring them.
No, not right off the top of my head.
Let's see what Monica has, because Monica, did we lose you?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
And yes, there are a couple questions that I would like to address. So we have one here. How many bills of materials can an inventory item have? Well, the answer is as many as you wish to, but only one can be the default bill of materials specified on the item warehouse. If you desire to have multiple bills of materials for a warehouse because of alternate production methods, you might consider using manual numbering and maybe use a suffix to indicate the alternate. And also, as I mentioned in the demonstration, you can have multiple active revisions for one bill of material. Don't forget that. How many levels of bill of material can you have? Acumatica supports multi-level bill of materials up to 99 levels. And we have another question here. Does Acumatica let me give each customer a different price? And yes, you can set up pricing by customer class, inventory class, or you can give each customer specific pricing.
And that has a very it has a very flexible pricing setup that you can do to automate.
Some manufacturers and wholesale distributors have pricing for dealers and end customers too. Yeah. So, can you choose to not take MRP recommendations and buy what you want? Yes, absolutely. The MRP is a recommendation only. So you can bypass the suggestions and create your purchase orders or production and transfer orders without even consulting the MRP. This is a tool to help you get your needs together, more or less. Then does this work with Shopify or other shopping carts? That would probably be a question for you, Bob.
It does. We interface with every one of the larger or the big e-commerce platforms, as well as we work with Amazon and any of the large distributors. We do great interfaces and integrations with.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a last question here. Does the bill of material have the ability to use phantoms? Yes, absolutely it does. I think that was our last question, Bob and Nancy.
Great. Nancy, do you have anything to add before we thank everybody for joining us?
No, except that, nothing beats a personalized product demonstration that is more geared towards your business and your business processes. We really touched on manufacturing at a very high level. And, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, oh, I wish we could show this and that and this and that. But there's, it's hard to do in a short webinar. So I hope that everyone reaches out and has request a personalized demonstration.
We hope so too. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Monica. And thank you for everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. We know it's valuable. And that's why we wanted to show you Acumatica, because it's a big time saver and great for your budget. So hopefully we'll be talking to you in the near future. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.